Have you ever stopped to think why some people achieve extraordinary things while others, with the same opportunities, remain stuck? It's not about luck. It's not about intelligence. And it's definitely not about being born in the right place. The truth is much deeper, and when you understand this, your life will never be the same again. There exists a force within you, right at this very moment, that is completely untapped. A force so powerful that Napoleon Hill spent over 20 years studying the richest and most successful people of his time just to understand how they mastered it. And what he discovered changes everything. Most people wake up every morning and immediately start wasting this force on completely useless things. Scrolling through social media, worrying about what someone said yesterday, arguing with people who don't matter, complaining about circumstances they can't control. It's like having $1 million in your bank account and spending it all on chewing gum and cigarettes. By the time something truly important comes along, something that could change your life forever, you have nothing left. Your battery is dead, your account is at zero, and then you wonder why you're not moving forward. The answer is simple but brutal. You've never learned to control your mind. Your mind controls you. And that's exactly what's keeping you trapped in mediocrity, while others soar to heights you can't even imagine. Today, you're going to discover how to make your mind work for you instead of against you. But I need to warn you about something. Once you understand this, once you truly grasp what I'm about to share with you, you can never go back to being the person you were. This knowledge will haunt you if you don't act on it. So if you're comfortable where you are, if you're okay with staying exactly where you've been for the last 5 years, close this video right now. But if you're ready, if you're truly ready to unlock the power that's been dormant inside you, then keep watching, because what comes next will shatter every excuse you've ever made. Before we continue, check if you've already commented here on the channel. If you haven't yet, pause for 2 seconds and write in the comments which country or city you're watching from. Leave it here on the channel, and don't forget to hit the like button. Don't just think about it, do it now. This small act of participation prepares your mind and makes everything that follows have a much greater impact on you. Here's something that most people will never understand about the human mind. You are not your mind. Let that sink in for a moment. You are not the thoughts that appear in your head. You are the observer of those thoughts. And this distinction, this single realization, is the master key that unlocks everything else. Right now, as you're reading these words, there are thoughts appearing in your mind. Maybe you're thinking about something you need to do later. Maybe you're judging whether what I'm saying makes sense. Maybe you're feeling hungry or tired. But here's the crucial part. If you can observe those thoughts, it means you are not those thoughts. You are something bigger that is observing. This is the most important discovery you can make in your entire life. When you realize that you are the observer, that you don't have to believe every thought that appears, that you can choose which thoughts to follow and which to ignore, everything changes. Most people never make this distinction. A thought of doubt appears and they say, I'm insecure. A thought of fear appears and they say, I'm afraid. A thought of laziness appears and they say, I have no energy. They're completely identifying with every thought that passes through their mind. It's like watching clouds pass through the sky and saying, I am those clouds. No, you are the sky. The clouds just pass by. Napoleon Hill discovered that all the great entrepreneurs he studied had developed this ability. They could observe their own negative thoughts without being consumed by them. A thought of doubt would appear, but they would say, interesting, my mind is generating doubt, but I'm going to act anyway. A thought of fear would appear, but they would say, my mind is trying to protect me, but I know the risk and I'm going to move forward anyway. This is real power. This is real freedom. When you learn to observe your mind instead of being your mind, you become invincible, because you can no longer be controlled by random thoughts. You're no longer a puppet of your emotions. You become the director of your own experience. But understanding this is just the beginning, because there's something even more fundamental you need to grasp about how your mental energy actually works, and that's what's coming next. Every morning when you wake up, something extraordinary happens that goes completely unnoticed by most people. Your mind is like a battery that recharges every night, But unlike your phone, nobody tells you how much charge you have. And here's where most people make their first critical mistake of the day. They immediately start draining this precious energy on things that don't matter. The moment their eyes open, they reach for their phone and start scrolling. They check social media. They read news that makes them anxious. They respond to messages that could wait. They watch videos that add zero value to their lives. Within the first hour of waking up, they've already wasted half their mental battery on absolute garbage. Think about this carefully. Your mental energy is the only real asset you have. Everything else can be taken away. They can take your money. They can take your job. They can take your possessions. But nobody can take away a trained, undisciplined, focused mind. That is your true wealth. Yet most people treat this invaluable resource like it's infinite, like they can waste it carelessly without consequences. Napoleon Hill studied Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and discovered that all of them had something in common. They weren't smarter than other people. They didn't have special advantages at the start. What they had was a mind trained to serve their objectives instead of sabotaging them. They had a mind that had been tamed, directed, focused like a laser. And here's what's going to shock you. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's not because the world is unfair. It's not because you haven't had the right opportunities. It's because you've allowed your mind to control you instead of controlling it. You've been a passenger instead of a driver. You've been reacting instead of creating. Now let me tell you something that will change how you see yourself forever. Your mind, when left untrained, is like a wild horse. If you've never tamed it, it will decide where it goes. It will take you toward the easiest pleasure, toward the nearest comfort, toward the most available distraction. But when you learn to tame it, when you establish that you are the one holding the reins, that same wild horse becomes your greatest ally. It takes you exactly where you want to go with speed and power. The question is, how do you tame this wild horse? How do you establish dominance over your own mind? It starts with something so simple that most people dismiss it. But I'm telling you right now, this practice alone can transform your entire life. For the next 30 days, I want you to do this every morning. Sit in silence for just 5 minutes, only 5 minutes, and simply observe your thoughts as if you were watching a movie. Don't judge the thoughts. Don't try to stop them. Don't identify with them. Just observe them appearing and disappearing. Oh, there's a thought about work. Interesting. Oh, there's a thought about my financial situation. Curious. Oh, there's a thought of worry about the future. Fascinating. At first, it's going to be difficult. Your mind is going to resist because it's used to controlling you. It's going to generate more thoughts, more distractions, more resistance. But if you persist, something magical begins to happen. You start to see that there's a space between you and your thoughts. You start to realize that you can choose. And that choice is where all your power lives. Losers react to their thoughts automatically. A negative thought appears, and they immediately feel bad, give up, complain. Winners observe their thoughts and consciously choose how to respond. That's the only real difference between success and failure. But here's what's truly fascinating. When you begin to observe your mind regularly, you discover something astonishing. Most of your thoughts are completely useless. They're just noise. They're worries about things that will never happen. Judgments about situations you can't control. Memories of the past that are already gone. Fantasies about a future that never arrives. If you could see a graph of your daily thoughts, you'd be shocked. Maybe 90% of them serve absolutely no purpose. They're mental garbage, and you've been spending your vital energy processing all that garbage. Imagine having an assistant who every day brings you 100 documents to review. 90 of those documents are complete spam. They have nothing to do with your objectives. They contain no useful information. They just distract and exhaust you. What would you do? You'd fire that assistant immediately, but that's exactly what your untrained mind does. It bombards you with useless thoughts all day long, and you obediently process them all. You waste your most precious mental energy on absolute garbage. When you learn to observe, you can begin to filter. You can say, this thought doesn't serve me. This thought doesn't bring me closer to my goals. This thought is just my mind wandering. I'm going to ignore it. And instead of processing 100 useless thoughts, you process the 10 that actually matter. your mental energy multiplies immediately. Suddenly you have clarity. Suddenly you have focus. Suddenly you have power. But there's something even more critical you need to understand about where your energy goes. Your attention is like a river. Water always flows in the direction the channel allows. If you create a channel toward negative things, all your energy flows there. If you create a channel toward productive things, your energy flows in that direction. Sounds simple, right? But most people have their channels completely misbuilt. They spend their attention, and therefore their energy, in places that not only don't benefit them, but actively destroy them. Let me give you concrete examples. Every time you check social media without a specific purpose, you're opening a channel for your energy to drain. Every time you engage in an argument that won't change anything, you're wasting energy. Every time you worry about something you can't control, you're throwing energy into a bottomless pit. Every time you gossip about other people's lives, you're spending energy you could use to build your own life. Every time you complain about your circumstances without taking action to change them, you're bleeding energy. And here's what's brutal. Your mental energy is limited. It's not infinite. Each day you wake up with a finite amount, like a battery that recharges, and when it runs out, it runs out. You can't go to a store and buy more. That's why people who have accomplished extraordinary things are so careful with their attention. They understand that attention is their most valuable resource. Bill Gates has 1 week a year where he completely disconnects and just thinks. Warren Buffett spends 80% of his day reading and thinking. These people protect their attention as if it were gold because they know it is. Napoleon Hill explained it differently in his time, but the principle is the same. He said you must have control over your own mental state. That means you consciously decide what to think about instead of allowing the outside world to dictate your thoughts. Most people live in reactive mode. Something happens and they react. Someone says something and they react. They see something on the news and they react. Their attention is pushed from side to side like a ball in a ping-pong game. They never have control. They're always responding. And because they're always responding, they're never creating. Because here's the truth. Either you create your life or you react to life. You can't do both at the same time. Creation requires you to take your mental energy and focus it intensely on what you want to build. It requires long periods of concentration without interruption. It requires you to say no to 1,000 distractions so you can say yes to your objective. But most people never experience this. They never sit for 2 hours working on something without checking their phone. They never spend an entire day focused on a single project. They never dedicate their complete mental energy to solving an important problem. And then they wonder why they accomplish nothing significant. Here's a specific practice that will change everything if you implement it. It's called the 3 priorities rule. Every night before sleeping, you're going to write down the 3 most important things you need to do the next day. Not 10 things, not 5 things, 3 things. These must be the 3 activities that, if completed, would make your day a success no matter what else happens. These 3 priorities must be directly connected to your big objectives. They can't be urgent but unimportant things. They must be important things that move you forward. Then the next day, your only rule is this. You don't do anything else until those 3 priorities are complete. You don't check emails, you don't check social media, you don't take calls that can wait. First, you finish the 3 priorities, and here's the magic. When you do this consistently, your mind learns that those priorities are sacred. Your mind begins to wake up ready to work on them. Your energy automatically channels toward them. Instead of spending your best morning energy on digital garbage, you use it to build your future. Napoleon Hill called this a definite major purpose. He observed that all successful people had absolute clarity about what their main objective was, and they organized all their mental energy around that objective. Everything else was secondary. This is the difference between people who achieve their dreams and people who just talk about them. Successful people channel their energy. Average people scatter their energy. It's that simple. But channeling your energy is worthless if you don't understand what I'm about to reveal next. Time is an illusion that most people never comprehend. They think they have time. They think they can start tomorrow. They think the right moment will eventually arrive. And that belief is exactly what keeps them trapped forever. Napoleon Hill discovered something disturbing in his research. All successful people treated time as if it were the scarcest resource in the universe. Because it is. You can recover lost money. You can rebuild damaged relationships. You can recover your health to a certain point. But you can never, ever recover lost time. Every second that passes is gone forever. Sounds obvious, right? But if you truly understood it, if you truly felt it in your bones, you would live completely differently. You wouldn't waste hours scrolling mindlessly on social media. You wouldn't spend your nights watching series you don't remember the next day. You wouldn't waste your days in jobs you hate without doing anything to change your situation. Here's the brutal truth you need to hear. Every day you don't work on your objectives is a day you'll never have again. Every week you postpone is a week that disappears from your life forever. Every month you say, "I'll start soon," is a month that gets erased from your existence without leaving anything in return. Most people live as if they had infinite life, as if they could waste years and then just recover them when they feel ready. But life doesn't work that way. Life is a countdown from the moment you're born, and the counter never stops. Never. So why do most people act as if they have all the time in the world? For one simple reason. The future feels unreal. Today feels real. This moment feels real. But the future is abstract, distant, theoretical. So people make decisions based on what they want now, not on what they want for their future. They want comfort now, so they don't do the hard work that would create freedom in the future. They want pleasure now, so they don't make the sacrifice that would create abundance in the future. They want ease now, so they don't make the effort that would create success in the future. And year after year, they keep choosing now over the future until one day they wake up and realize that the future became the present and they built nothing. Their imaginary future finally arrived, but it arrived empty because they never put anything into it. Napoleon Hill called this drifting. He said that 98% of people simply drift through life, never taking real control, never steering their ship, just letting themselves be carried by the currents of ease and comfort. And drifting always leads to mediocrity. Always. There are no exceptions. Nobody drifts accidentally into success. Nobody gets distracted into wealth. Nobody procrastinates into their dreams. Success requires intention. It requires you to make deliberate decisions about how to use your time. It requires you to sacrifice what you want now for what you want most. And here's the part most people don't want to face. Sacrifice is inevitable. Either you sacrifice your comfort now to have freedom later, or you sacrifice your freedom later to have comfort now. Either you sacrifice your pleasure now to have abundance later, or you sacrifice your abundance later to have pleasure now. You can't avoid the sacrifice. You can only choose what you're going to sacrifice. And losers always choose to sacrifice the future. It seems easier to them because the pain is far away, they don't feel it today. But winners choose to sacrifice the present. They choose the pain now because they know that pain is temporary, but the rewards are permanent. Let me give you a practice that will change your relationship with time forever. It's called the death exercise. Sounds morbid, but it's incredibly powerful. You're going to imagine that you only have 6 months left to live. The doctor just gave you the news. 6 months and it's over. No appeal, no miracle. 6 months is all you have. Now, with that reality in mind, ask yourself, what would you do with those 6 months? Would you keep wasting time on social media? Would you keep watching television for hours? Would you keep postponing your dreams? Would you keep staying in relationships that drain you? Would you keep staying in a job you hate without trying to change it? Of course not. If you truly only had 6 months, you would live with intensity. You would say the important things. You would do the important things. You would spend time with the important people. You wouldn't waste a single day. But here's the twist. You don't know how much time you have left. It could be 6 months. It could be 6 years. It could be 60 years. But it's definitely limited. So why not live like that now? Why not live each day as if it were precious? Because it is. Napoleon Hill discovered that all the successful people he studied had something he called urgency of purpose, not postponing, not waiting for the perfect moment, but acting now with intensity. They understood that time is the only resource you can never buy more of, no matter how much money you have. Steve Jobs, before he died, was one of the richest men in the world. But all his money couldn't buy him a single extra day of life. In his final moments, he wasn't thinking about his billions. He was thinking about the time he had spent and the time he wouldn't have. Time is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, famous or unknown, powerful or weak. We all have the same 24 hours each day. The difference is how we use them. Losers kill time. Winners leverage time. So how do you leverage time? First, you ruthlessly eliminate everything that doesn't move you toward your objectives. And when I say ruthlessly, I mean it. If an activity isn't building your future, eliminate it. If a relationship is draining you without giving you anything in return, eliminate it. If a habit is stealing your energy without benefiting you, eliminate it. Most people are afraid to eliminate things because they feel like they're losing options. But the truth is the opposite. When you eliminate what doesn't matter, you gain time for what does matter. Second, you protect your time as if it were cash, because it is. It's more valuable than cash. If someone asked you for $100 every day without giving you anything in return, you'd say no immediately. But we allow people and activities to steal hours from us every day without thinking twice. Start saying no. No to unnecessary meetings. No to social events you don't enjoy. No to favors you don't want to do. No to commitments that don't serve you. Your time is yours. You decide how it's spent. And finally, you invest your time instead of spending it. Spending time is using it on things that leave nothing afterward. Passive entertainment, distraction, complaining. Investing time is using it on things that grow, learning skills, building valuable relationships, creating assets, working on objectives. Invested time returns multiples. Spent time disappears without a trace, but even if you master your time, there's still a hidden enemy that will sabotage everything, and you need to understand it now. Approval is the most dangerous drug in the world. It's invisible, socially accepted, and it destroys you slowly without you realizing it. Most people are addicted to it. They need others to validate them. They need likes. They need comments. They need someone to tell them they're okay. And that need makes them slaves. Napoleon Hill saw this clearly. Successful people don't need external approval. They have their own internal compass that tells them if they're on the right path or not. But most people have given away their compass. They've given others the power to decide if they're valuable or not. Think about how much energy you spend worrying about what others think. You're about to post something on social media, and first you think, what will they say? Will they like this? You want to start a business, but you think, what will my family say? Will they think I'm crazy? You want to make a big change in your life, but you think, what will my friends say? Will they judge me? And because you're so worried about other people's opinions, you never do what you really want to do. You live a life designed to get the approval of people who probably aren't even thinking about you. Because here's the brutal truth. Most people are so consumed by their own problems that they rarely think about you. They're worried about what you think of them, not actually thinking about you. It's an absurd game where everyone is performing for an audience that isn't paying attention. But even more important than that, other people's approval is worth nothing, literally nothing. You can't buy food with approval. You can't pay your rent with likes. You can't build a future with positive comments. Approval is smoke. It feels good for a moment and then vanishes, leaving you empty and needing more. It's exactly like a drug. The approval addict needs their daily dose. They post something, wait for reactions, feel good for a moment, and then need more. They do something, wait for recognition, feel validated for a moment, and then need more. And it's never enough. They never get to the point where they say, okay, I have enough approval now. Because external approval can never fill an internal void. It's impossible. It's like trying to fill a tank that has a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it always escapes. Napoleon Hill discovered that the great leaders he studied had broken this addiction. They had developed what he called self-confidence. Not confidence in other people's opinions, but confidence in their own vision, confidence in their own evaluation, confidence in their own judgment. Henry Ford was ridiculed when he said he would put a car in every home. The experts said it was impossible, that he was crazy. Do you think Ford stopped because the experts didn't approve? Of course not. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before creating the light bulb. Do you think he gave up because people laughed at him? No. The Wright brothers were considered crazy when they said humans would fly. Did that stop them? No, each of these men had something in common. They didn't care about other people's approval. They had a vision, and they pursued it no matter what anyone else said. And that's the only way to accomplish anything significant. Because anything significant you do is going to be criticized. There will be people who say it can't be done. People who say you're arrogant for trying. People who say you're going to fail. If you need those people's approval to continue, you'll stop. But if you've developed real self-confidence, their opinions are irrelevant. Now, how do you develop this self-confidence? Not through empty affirmations in front of the mirror, not by telling yourself, "I'm great," without evidence. Real self-confidence comes from something much more solid. It comes from keeping your promises to yourself. Every time you say you're going to do something and you do it, you build self-confidence. Every time you say you're going to do something and you don't, you destroy it. It's that simple. Most people have zero self-confidence because they never keep their own promises. They say, "Well, I'm going to start exercising tomorrow," and they don't. They say, "Well, I'm going to start that business," and they don't. They say, "I'm going to study every day," and they don't. And every broken promise is like a brick removed from the foundation of your self-confidence. Over time, you don't trust yourself at all. And when you don't trust yourself, you need others to tell you you're okay. You need external validation because you don't have internal validation. But when you start keeping your promises, something magical happens. You start to trust yourself. You start to know that if you say you'll do something, you'll do it. And that certainty makes you invincible. You no longer need anyone else to believe in you because you believe in yourself. And that belief is based on real evidence, not fantasy. So here's your practice. For the next 30 days, you're going to make one small promise to yourself each day, and you're going to keep it without fail. Don't make big promises you can't keep. Make small promises you know you can fulfill. Today, I'm going to walk for 20 minutes. Do it. Today, I'm going to read 10 pages. Do it. Today, I'm going to save $5. Do it. Every promise kept is a deposit in your self-confidence bank. After 30 days of kept promises, your relationship with yourself will have fundamentally changed. You'll no longer be someone who disappoints themselves. You'll be someone who trusts their own word. And when you reach that point, other people's opinions lose all their power. Someone can criticize you and you simply think, "Interesting opinion," and continue with your work. Someone can disapprove of you, and it simply doesn't affect you because your internal approval is stronger than any external disapproval. This is real freedom. Not financial freedom, though that comes later. It's mental freedom. It's being free from the need for others to validate you. It's being free from living your life trying to impress people who don't really matter. And here's the ironic twist. When you stop needing approval, you receive it more. Because people can sense when someone is authentic. They can sense when someone isn't performing to impress them. And that's magnetic. But there's one more enemy you need to defeat before you can truly be free. Negative self-talk is the silent killer of dreams. It's the voice in your head that constantly tells you that you're not enough, that you can't do it, that you're going to fail. And most people don't even realize this voice is there, constantly whispering poison. Napoleon Hill identified it as one of the greatest obstacles to success. He called these negative thoughts negative influences and said they must be eliminated like weeds in a garden, because that's exactly what they are. Weeds grow naturally. You don't have to plant them. You don't have to water them. They just appear. And if you don't constantly pull them out, they take over the entire garden and kill the flowers you want to cultivate. Your mind is that garden. Negative thoughts are the weeds, and if you don't actively control them, they will dominate your entire mental experience. Think about the things you say to yourself when you make a mistake. "I'm an idiot. I always ruin everything. I'm never going to succeed. I'm not smart enough." Would you talk to a friend like that? Of course not. But you talk to yourself like that all the time. And every time you do, you're programming your mind for failure. Because the mind doesn't distinguish between what is true and what you tell it repeatedly. If you tell it every day that you're a failure, it will eventually believe it and act accordingly. If you tell it every day that you're capable, it will eventually believe it and act accordingly. Here's the problem. Most people have been telling themselves negative things for years, maybe decades. They've built a mental identity of, I'm someone who can't. And that identity is like invisible chains that keep them trapped. You can have all the opportunities in the world in front of you, but if your internal dialogue says you can't, then you won't. Not because you're incapable, but because your mind will sabotage every attempt. It will convince you not to try. It will convince you to give up at the first obstacle. It will convince you that you're not one of those people who succeed. And all of that is a lie. But it's a lie you've repeated so many times that it feels like truth. Napoleon Hill discovered that all the successful people he studied had learned to control their internal dialogue. They didn't allow negative thoughts to occupy space in their minds. When a negative thought appeared, they immediately replaced it with a constructive thought. They didn't ignore it. They didn't pretend it didn't exist. They acknowledged it and consciously chose to think something different. This isn't foolish positive thinking. It's not saying everything is finite when it clearly isn't. It's something much more powerful. It's choosing thoughts that empower you instead of thoughts that paralyze you. For example, if you make a mistake, instead of thinking, I'm an idiot, you think, and I made a mistake. What can I learn from this? The difference seems small, but it's enormous. The first thought defines you as a failure. The second thought defines the mistake as a learning opportunity. The first thought paralyzes you. The second thought moves you forward. If you face a big challenge, instead of thinking, I can't do this, you think, I don't know how to do this yet, but I'm going to learn. Again, the difference is subtle, but powerful. The first thought closes the door. The second thought keeps it open. This isn't self-deception. It's mental precision, because I can't is rarely true. The truth is usually, I don't know how yet. And that's a completely different situation. One is permanent, the other is temporary and can be changed. Now, how do you implement this in practice? First, you need to become aware of your internal dialogue. Most people don't even know what they're saying to themselves because it happens so automatically. It's like a background program that's always running. So for the next few days, your only task is to notice. Every time something doesn't go as you want, pause and listen to what you tell yourself. Every time you face a challenge, pause and listen to your first thought. Every time you have to do something difficult, pause and listen to how you talk to yourself. Just notice. Don't judge. Don't try to change anything yet. Just become aware. Write these thoughts down if necessary. You'll probably be surprised at how negative your internal dialogue is. Once you're aware, you can begin to intervene. Every time you catch a negative thought, you're going to do something Napoleon Hill called transmutation. You're going to transform that thought into something useful. Negative thought, I'm terrible at this. Transmutation, I'm still learning this and improving every day. Negative thought, I always fail. Transmutation, I've failed before and learned. I'm more prepared now. Negative thought, I don't have what it takes. Transmutation, I'm developing the skills I need. See how it works. You're not denying reality. You're not pretending everything is perfect. You're choosing interpretations that empower you instead of interpretations that weaken you. And here's the magical part. When you do this consistently for weeks, your brain literally changes. The neural pathways that connected difficult situations with negative thoughts weaken. New neural pathways that connect difficult situations with constructive thoughts strengthen. Eventually, constructive thoughts become automatic. You don't have to fight with your mind. Your mind automatically seeks the empowering interpretation, but this requires conscious work at first. It doesn't happen magically. You have to catch negative thoughts and replace them hundreds of times before the new pattern establishes itself. Most people try this for 2 days, don't see immediate results, and give up. But those who persist, who do this work for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, experience a mental transformation that changes everything. Suddenly, challenges no longer feel overwhelming. Failures no longer feel devastating. Criticism doesn't hurt as much, because your internal dialogue is building instead of destroying. Napoleon Hill said something profound. We are what we think about all day long. Not what we think about occasionally, what we think about all day long, every day. If you spend all day thinking thoughts of limitation, you become limited. If you spend all day thinking thoughts of possibility, you become capable of extraordinary things. So the question is, what are you thinking about all day? Are you cultivating a mental garden of flowers or weeds? And if it's weeds, when are you going to start pulling them out? Because here's the truth. Nobody else can do this work for you. Nobody can enter your mind and clean up your internal dialogue. Only you can do that. And until you do, you'll continue to be your own worst enemy. But when you do it, when you transform your internal dialogue from negative to constructive, you become your greatest ally. And that's the difference between living a life of constant struggle and living a life of constant progress. But there's still one final piece of the puzzle you need to understand. Your beliefs are the invisible chains that determine your destiny. It's not your circumstances. It's not your education. It's not your economic situation. It's the beliefs you have about yourself and about the world. And most people live with beliefs that guarantee their failure. Napoleon Hill discovered something extraordinary. All the successful people he studied had one fundamental, unshakable belief. They believed, without any doubt, that they could achieve whatever they set their minds to. Not hope, not wish. Absolute belief. And that belief wasn't irrational. It was based on a deep understanding of how success works. But most people have completely opposite beliefs. They believe success is for others. They believe you're either born lucky or you're not. They believe the system is rigged. They believe it's too late for them. And all these beliefs, without exception, are lies. But they're powerful lies because they function as self-fulfilling prophecies. If you believe you can't succeed, then you won't take the actions necessary to succeed. And when you don't take those actions, you don't succeed. And then you say, I knew I couldn't. But it wasn't reality that stopped you. It was your belief about reality. Let me give you a concrete example. Two people work in the same job with the same salary. Both want to be financially free. The first person believes, it's impossible to get rich with what I earn. The system is against me. The second person believes, if others have built wealth from scratch, I can too. I just need to learn how. What do you think happens? The first person never learns about investments, never looks for opportunities, never saves consistently. Because why try if it's impossible, right? The second person reads books, seeks mentors, saves every month, invests intelligently, looks for additional income. And in 10 years, while the first person is still saying it's impossible, the second person has built a portfolio that generates passive income. The difference wasn't talent, it wasn't luck. It was belief. Beliefs control actions. Actions control results. Results reinforce beliefs. It's a cycle, and it can be a virtuous cycle that lifts you up or a vicious cycle that pulls you down. It all depends on what beliefs you start with. Now, here's the crucial question. Where do your beliefs come from? Most of your beliefs aren't really yours. You absorbed them from your family, your culture, and your environment when you were a child. The people around you spoke about money, work, success, and what was possible. And as a child, you accepted those ideas without questioning them. If you grew up hearing phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are corrupt, or you have to work hard for very little, those messages quietly settled into your mind. Over time, they became invisible rules guiding your decisions, your fears, and even your limits. And here's the truth. Most of these beliefs were never facts. They were opinions passed down by people who were also repeating what they had been taught. But what was learned can be unlearned. The moment you become aware of these patterns, you regain the power to choose new beliefs, beliefs that support growth, abundance, and possibility. Your past may have shaped your mindset, but it does not have to define your future. Subscribe to the channel and have faith that the divine presence is with you, that God's blessings fill your day today and tomorrow. Find peace in the love of Jesus Christ. See you tomorrow.